Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Dustin Nulf with Keller Williams Realty's, the Dustin Nulf team, and the Full House LLC, Pittsburgh Property Management. And we are back today. We're going to do something a little bit different. As many of you have requested, we're going to take a look at my recent investment. It is a property that I will be flipping. It will be the first flip that I have ever done, official flip that I've ever done. And we're going to take a tour of that property today and take a look at what it looks like, as well as the numbers, so the plan, what we expect to be able to net profit-wise out of this property when it's all said and done. So thank you for joining us. Let's get started. So before we get rolling, real quick, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the notification bell below. And if you find this video valuable, please share it. So what we're going to look at today is what I typically, what we're going to look at today is a flip. What I typically do is the BRRRR method, where I would purchase a rental property, fix it up, put a good tenant in there, and then refinance it, get my money back out of the property, and then buy another one. That's how I typically do it. This property and a lot of properties in the Pittsburgh area now no longer make sense to do that way. It's very tight numbers anymore. So when I looked at this property, I thought I'm not going to be able to do that with it, but it is good enough deal that it wouldn't be bad to do as a flip, and I haven't done a flip officially before, so I figured, well, what the hell, we'll do a flip on this property. So we picked up the property and financed it with hard money. So we are financing the purchase of the property and the renovations of the property with hard money. I am prepared to throw in additional funds if need be. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the numbers. And as I go over the numbers here, I'm probably going to show you a couple pictures of the property in its current condition, and possibly some pictures of it when I purchased it, because it was a lot rougher when I purchased it. So you're going to get some pictures of it as is now, and then we'll do a quick walkthrough of the condition that it was purchased in, and there will be subsequent parts of this video. So we're going to have multiple videos that follow along with the progress of the property, okay? Okay, so I guess before we actually delve into the numbers, I'm going to tell you the story of the property, and we'll kind of talk about the numbers while we talk about the story. So this property was found by a friend of mine who is a wholesaler. And if you don't know what wholesaling is, we have videos on wholesaling that you can check out to learn what it is. But essentially, he found this property, put it under contract, and then took it out to his partner. And those guys tried to get this property sold off the market to an investor where they would have made a quick buck on it, wholesaling the property. Unfortunately, they were unable to find a buyer for the property. And my friend came to me and said, hey, I'm about to lose the contract on this property. Would you be interested in it? I can probably give it to you for very close to the cost that he had it under contract for. And I said, sure, let's take a look at it. We took a look at it. I crunched the numbers. The numbers looked like they were going to make sense for the most part. And we ended up extending the contract, and I put it under contract under my name. And how the numbers worked out on this property, basically, I was supposed to be all in for between $35,000 and $40,000. There was the owner of the property owed a private mortgage to the previous owner of the property, and the owner of the property said that he only needed $10,000 to pay this guy off. And so the purchase price for the property technically was supposed to be $10,000. So this guy was going to get paid 10 grand. He was going to use it to pay the owner off, or the previous owner off, who was the private mortgager on it. And then there were back taxes, and the amount of the back taxes was supposed to come up to about $25,000 to $27,000. I was paying myself a finder's fee on the property. I wanted to pay myself $5,000. I wanted to pay my friend $5,000. which would have brought us up to about $35,000, $37,000. And so we said, that sounds great, well, let's put it under contract. We put it under contract, and as we're getting towards the close, we find out that the owner actually owed the previous owner $36,000 roughly. Okay, so he owes this guy $36,000, and he told us that he could take 10. That's not the case. I ended up saying, well, I'm not going to give up on this. I want to talk to the previous owner, the guy who's holding the mortgage note on this property, and see if he's willing to negotiate and take less. And I called him and I said, hey, this is what happened. This owner told me that, you know, he'd take 10 grand and that's all you wanted for this. Is that really the case? And the previous owner and mortgage holder laughed and said, no, that's not what I want for that. I want $36,000, which is what he owes me. And I said, listen, this property is like not worth 36 grand because he's got so many back taxes and the property's so beat up, and you're probably seeing walk-through video of the property right now. It has rat feces everywhere. It's been beat up by dogs. It's been beat up by cats. I can't believe people were living in this place. It was in really rough shape, and it was more of a cleanliness issue than it was anything else. But people didn't even want to step foot in this place. So I told the owner that. I said, you're probably not going to get that. And the owner said, well, I would be willing to take $15,000 as a payoff. I said, great, I think we can make that happen. I went back to the current owner and said, we can make that happen. We'll keep the contract. Let's move forward. There were municipal requirements on the property, and one of the municipal requirements in our area is called a dye test, which is they see where the water's running out of the downspouts and make sure that it's not running into the sewer. It can't run into the sewer, it needs to run in the storm drain. Well, they figured out that the water was running into the sewer, and there were other various issues with the downspouts that I didn't think were going to be able to be fixed for under $2,000. And I ended up saying, listen, this is just too tight. It ain't going to work. I'm calling it off. I canceled the deal. I told the owner that. The previous owner was alerted then that, you know, you're not going to get the $15,000 you thought you were going to get because the buyer's backing out of the deal. And he called me back up and said, listen, I just want to be done with this property. I will take $10,000. Let's make it happen. And I said, this is going to still be close, but we'll do it. So the technical purchase price of the property is $10,000. Okay. So we're going to write that in up here as the purchase price. Now, I can't remember, there were back taxes, there was a commission I was paying myself as the buyer's agent, right? And a finder's fee that I paid, or a consulting fee that I paid to my friend for connecting me with the deal. And when it was all said and done, it ended up being something like $27,000 that I came to the table with. I had originally told the hard money lender that it was going to be about $35,000 or something like that. And there was something like a $3,000 overage because he was prepared to give me $30,000 and it was only $27,000. So I ended up getting paid like $3,600 at the closing. I don't know if that's the exact number, but I will show you a copy of the closing statement that you guys can take a look at right now that will show you that I think I got paid on this deal, or what the actual numbers are, so you can see that. So when it's all said and done, I walked away with money at the table, and the private money guy, my hard money lender, was holding in escrow near $65,000, $70,000 for the work that I wanted to do on the property. So my budget is $70,000 for the rehab, and this is my original budget, was $70,000 for the rehab. So far we've got, we're just going to say $30,000 for the purchase and the all in, and then we've got $70,000 for the budget. So purchase, rehab. So the total plan is that I'm going to be in it for $100,000. I would like to sell the property for $150,000. So we're going to subtract out the 100 from the 150, and that leaves $50,000 in gross profit, okay? Now, that does not include the cost of me selling the property. It does not include the cost of me holding on to the property. It does not include the cost of my interest payments to the hard money lender, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to look at like kind of worst case scenario numbers. If I sell it for 150, I'm going to have about $15,000 in closing costs, commissions, and things like that, okay? And we're going to say roughly, I'm just going to assume that we carry this loan for 6 months. We're paying, it's under 15% interest, interest only, but we're just going to kind of round up, and we're going to say, or we're going to round, it'll be down actually. So we're going to say that interest will cost me about $6,000 because I'm aiming to be in and out of this property in 6 months. So $6,000 in holding costs and interest roughly. So when that's all said and done, that's going to take me down to, I think, $39,000. Which would be fantastic, right? That wouldn't be too bad of a profit. If I invest 100 and I make 39,000, that's a 39% return on investment. That doesn't include capital gains. I will have to pay some sort of income tax or capital gains tax on this money. So here's the thing about real estate, though. Real estate has surprises. Every piece of real estate has surprises. No matter how much due diligence you do, usually you find a surprise. And sure enough, in this deal, I found a surprise. Surprise number one was I could barely get a contractor to do the work for $70,000 or less. So right now I have a contractor doing the work, and he's guaranteeing it's going to be under $75,000. Our target is $70,000. So if we hit 70, I will be surprised. When a contractor says, I guarantee it'll be under 75 grand, you better believe it's probably going to be about $75,000. They're not going to go under that usually. So there's an extra 5 grand there that I didn't have budgeted in. And lo and behold, we go to turn the water on, and we find out that the water line is broken between the street and the water meter. That means it's my responsibility to replace the water line. It is not the city's responsibility or the water company's responsibility. Long story short, the owner and the previous owner both knew about this. I can tell they knew about it because of the way they talked about it when I was asking about water lines and sewer lines, and lied to me about it. So they both knew that this was an issue with the property and didn't disclose it. Normally, I would be suing them for not disclosing an issue with the property. However, I don't think I have any chance of getting money out of either one of these guys. So I'm just going to chalk it up as a loss, and I'm going to pay the extra $7,000 that it's going to cost for me to put a new water line in here next week. So there's two more surprises that occurred that I'm going to have to eat the cost for, and it will reduce the bottom line. So now we're looking at, I don't know where we're at here, 39,000 minus, that puts us at about 27,000, I believe. The other thing I realized that in my contractor bid, I didn't say anything about adding air conditioner, and we're going to have to add AC to this place. So that's going to be another at least $3,000 coming off of that, which will take us down to $24,000. And then, you know, pretend that we're going to pay 15% in capital gains on top of that. So that's another $4,000 coming off. So I will probably, if all goes well, net, I'm going to say between $15,000 and $20,000 profit on this. So it's only a 15 to 20% return on investment when I was planning for almost a 40% return on investment. However, it's a 6-month turnaround. If that actually happens, that's not bad, right? If we did that twice a year, it would be a 30 to 40% return on investment on that same money that we're cycling through. The cool thing is that it's not my money. Like none of this money is really my own. I even funded the closing costs pretty much coincidentally through the hard money. He doesn't normally do that, but just the way this worked out, he didn't want to adjust the loan, and I ended up having the closing costs funded by hard money also. And we will come back and we will revisit this property in hopefully a week. It's actually a couple days after the work has started, but I'm going to try to do weekly updates so you guys can see the progress through this property, and we'll keep you posted when the property goes live on the market, when the offers come in and are accepted. We'll show you how we negotiated those deals and or that deal and how we got it to the closing table, and then what finally happened with that property. How much money did we make? How much am I going to pay in for taxes? And what is the real bottom line going to look like? Knock on wood, I'm hoping that I make money off this property. It's getting tighter and tighter every day, and we will see. We will see what it looks like. So thanks for joining me today. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it with friends and or coworkers, colleagues, business partners, and let's stay in touch. See you again soon.